Sometimes I think I was born with pen in hand because I can't remember a time, even as a child, when I didn't have a notebook or a journal with me, always ready to write at the very moment a thought appeared. I even keep a notebook by me at night now because for some reason I'm most creative during the twilight hours, which makes sense since I am a night owl, but even sleep doesn't seem to prevent the thoughts from coming. During other times of day or night, if by some chance I don't have a pen or paper handy when my mind is just brimming with ideas, I'll send a text to myself to make sure I don't forget it until I've had a chance to write it down. My path of creativity seems to have a mind of its own and its own schedule. In my writing career, I've written about a variety of genres and about all types of subject matter, but poetry has always been my first love of writing. The question was, how would I tell Artlist about my passion in a way that would paint a clear picture of what poetry really means to me? There's a kind of creative freedom that I feel when I write poetry, and I believe that a single poem holds endless magic and profound power. Because this style of writing reaches well beyond the land of convention and conformity, it goes into a boundless world of adventure, a place where thoughts and emotions meet artistry, and they're only limited by our imagination. If only there was a way that I could put all of this onto a canvas, what an artist I would be. Poetry was probably the first to tap into my creative side, awakening the artist within my soul, helping me to overcome barriers that prevented me from expressing myself, and showing me a way to create with my voice and my vision without any limitation. In my eyes, it's like painting a picture with words. Just like an artist uses the colors from a palette to illustrate emotion, the colorful, symbolic, and descriptive words in a poem can do the same. When people ask what inspires me to write poetry, I can't say that it's just one thing alone. Sitting outside in my backyard while the bunnies and chipmunks are playing with the bright blue sky surrounding me, that kind of lifts life's burdens from my shoulders and words just dance around in my head. Of course, I've written many poems while on the coast of Maine, mesmerized by the ocean and the sounds of the sea. Music is another motivator for me because music has always had a prominent place within my life. In fact, every phase of my journey seems to have its own soundtrack, and those melodies bring me to a sense of calm that enables me to write beyond my imagination. When I began working on Artlist Creative Fest contest, I needed to find a way to capture all that poetry writing is to me, and then it hit me, staring me in the face the whole time. What better way to share my passion and tell my story than to write about it in my own original poem? After all, poetry is more than a collection of beautiful sounding words. It's a story with a beginning, middle, and end. And this is the best way that I could think of to tell my story. I always title my poems first to establish the theme and direction, and my process usually begins the old school way with pen and paper, which is exactly how I wrote this poem. I find that it's the only way I can reach the deepest part of my creative spirit when I can write freely without technology. As I do with all of my writing, I began writing portrait of poetry with whatever came to mind in no particular fashion, form, or order, mostly fragmented to simply extract my thoughts first. I had so much to say, but I didn't want to lose any of it. For me, it's almost like a puzzle, and once I managed to get all of the pieces of that puzzle out onto paper, then I was able to figuratively fit it all together to complete my masterpiece. As I was writing this poem, I spent some time envisioning a dreamy backdrop that would truly encapsulate the passion of my poem, so it only made sense to depict me on an artist's canvas with all of the beauty of poetry surrounding me. That's when everything began to come together, and it was just a matter of making sure that I had the editing ability to achieve what I had pictured. The funny thing is that this challenge was easy and difficult at the same time, identifying and finding the ideal way to share my passion through video while feeling the emotion of how it all began and conveying that sentiment through my poem as well as the entire video.